Nusli Wadia is the grandson of Quaid E Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the son of his only daughter, Dina Wadia. He is one of the richest men in India, per Wikipedia, holding a net worth of 7 billion US dollars. Interesting to see his love and admiration for his grandfather in the following video.
But you're probably the only businessman I know who the government has tried to deport, whose business rivals have tried to kill him, who's had virtually the entire government of India against him, who's fought back and taken on the government of India. Nothing in your background, born into this nice, genteel Parsi family, suggests that you were capable of doing it. Was it difficult?
Well, to start with, you only talked to one half of my family.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the other half in the second part.
So when you say
the
genteel
Jinnah
half,
part, yeah.
I don't know whether it is only the genteel half that is in my genes.
But it wasn't the Wadia part, surely.
Probably not. Probably not. In the sense that to stand up, I think came substantially from other genes, which are quite controversial at the moment. But anyway, I mean, but that was, one of the issues was standing up. That's what happened in historically. Did you agree with or disagree with it? And so I suppose some genetic transfer took place.
So do you recognize the Jinnah genes in you, you think?
100%.
Yeah, in what way? What do you think you inherited from them?
I think one inherits the genes of one's family, both sides of the family.
I would say, I mean, from having known your father a little bit, that what you inherited from him was his essential honesty, his integrity, his belief in loyalty, in decency, and his charitable disposition, the sense that you had to do things for the community, that you had a greater responsibility than just making money. That bit is clear. The other half, what do you inherit from the other side?
No, also integrity.
I said integrity.
No, the other side is integrity.
Jinnah's integrity? Really? Explain that.
I think he's a man.
Because he's a controversial figure, so tell me what you think.
Controversy is actually, integrity is a cause of controversy very often, because a man sticks to his beliefs. And Jinnah was, I think, even his worst enemy will say he was the man of the highest integrity.
Yes.
Intellectual, financial, of
course.
He was no issue. Yeah. I mean, he made his own money. He didn't have any opportunity to be financially, lack of integrity didn't exist for him, because he was a self-made man, and apart from that, he earned every cent that he had. So there was no integrity issue there. But intellectual integrity, nobody ever denied. He didn't say one thing and do another. He did what he said he was going to do.
He was also a fighter. Is that where you got it from?
Partly, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Because my father was a much softer, gentler person.
Jinnah was a tough guy. He was a fighter. He was a guy who never let go.
Yeah, he stuck to what he believed. And he pursued it. You can agree with what he pursued, you can disagree with what he pursued. That's that's the debate at the moment. For which people are paying the price. But anyway.
When you see this debate happening, many of the people involved are actually very close friends of yours. Just one thing, it's no secret, a close friend of yours.
Very close friend.
Yeah. L.K. Advani, who's perhaps somewhere in the middle, Arun Jaitley, who's clearly on the other side. All of these people are your friends. How does it feel looking at it? Because it's really your grandfather they're discussing.
Well, if you ask me, I don't know how to put this, but in the case of Jaswant Singh, he wrote a book.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has a right to say he doesn't have a right to write a book.
Fair enough.
And I don't think anybody can condemn him for having done so. They can disagree with what he said. They can challenge what he said. But I have read the book, not in totality, but I've read the book. And when I read the book, I certainly didn't find anything offensive in what he said about Patel. I think, to my mind, that's a total fiction.
Okay.
Which was created, I think, to meet an exigency and to justify an action.
You don't think that's why they got rid of him? You think it was an excuse after the event?
Well, you read the book. There are 6 references to to Vallabhbhai, and all 6 references are on 6 pages out of 600. And not one of those references is offensive. On the contrary, it actually sympathizes and empathizes with him.
But actually they began by saying that they were expelling him because he supported Jinnah. The Patel thing was an afterthought, perhaps because they thought Advani...
I don't know what happened there, but I am disappointed because, if you ask me, Advani's statement on Jinnah, to which he stuck very...
The one he made in Pakistan.
And for which he paid a very, sadly paid a price, and which hurt him. Frankly, what Jaswant Singh said was less.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, I think if you ask me, what Lalji said, what Advaniji said was a great deal stronger than what Jaswant Singh said.
So why the double standards?
That you must ask them. How can I answer that?
Mr. Advani is one of your oldest friends. You've known him for what, 30 years, 40 years?
Yeah.
How does it feel when you see him in this situation?
Sad.
Yeah?
Very sad.
I obviously don't know him as well as you do, but I somehow imagine that he would have come out, if not in favor of Jaswant, at least at a personal level made some attempt to reach out. Instead, he seems to have retreated into a shell.
I can't understand it. I haven't spoken to him, but frankly, it's out of character for him. I'm a little surprised, and I don't know why. But one day when I meet him, I'll certainly ask him.
On the subject of Jaswant Singh, one suggestion that the BJP is putting about is that you actually financed the book, that you made Jaswant Singh do it to glorify your grandfather. Is that accurate?
Well, you know, using intemperate language on television is not actually allowed.
Otherwise, I don't mind. Go ahead.
Otherwise, I would really say something on that. That's nonsense.
Nonsense?
It's absolute nonsense. I mean, a man is going to spend 5 years writing a book for Nusli Wadia. What has Nusli Wadia got to do with Jaswant Singh? We are friends. You and I are friends. So tomorrow if you write a piece in the Hindustan Times or you write on something, you wrote recently on the Ambanis.
Exactly the same thing has been suggested.
Therefore, did I influence you? Did I fund you? I didn't even know you'd written the thing.
So you read it in
Now,
the paper.
I knew Jaswant Singh was writing a book on Jinnah simply because he asked me only that if I had any papers or things which I could lay my hands on, and frankly I didn't. I was 4 years old when my grandfather left. All his papers are in Pakistan, etc. And he accessed everything from wherever the libraries were or the authorities were. And that's it. Financing him? Why would he need my financing?
And why would you
He
need
is a publisher.
And why would you need someone to glorify Jinnah? Sorry, by the way.
And I don't need, frankly, my grandfather is my grandfather. That's not going to change. The fact that I'm proud of him is not going to change. I don't need Jaswant Singh to write a certificate for him. I don't think he needs a certificate. So, where's the issue of my funding Jaswant Singh?
But you are aware that this sort of thing has been said.
No, I didn't know people had said that I funded it.
A, people have said you funded it. B, that you put him up to it because you were concerned
I never
about
put him up to it. In fact, he never discussed it with me until I believe, because he mentioned to me, look, I've got a manuscript which I've written on your grandfather, and if there are any photographs you have, etc., I would be grateful for the help that you could give me, etc. He never met my mother, never discussed with my mother, never interviewed her, never discussed with me, never interviewed me on Jinnah, nothing.
So the first you knew
it's
about...
a total fiction. And unfortunately, it is actually to try and kill the credibility of his book. And it doesn't